Hello, good evening. My name is Brandon, and I'm a two-year culinary student. And today I want to talk to you about the importance of keeping a sharp kitchen knife. Now, if you allow me just a moment to show you, this is actually one of the main knives that you'll actually encounter in the kitchen. It's referred to as a chef's knife or also a French knife. They come to 8 to 10 inches typically. And this is what everybody sometime in their lives are going to encounter sooner or later in the kitchen. Today, what I want to talk to you about, though, is keeping a sharp knife and the importances of keeping a sharp knife. Many people think that a dull knife is a little bit safer. But in all actuality, a dull knife, people are caught more times on dull knives than they are sharp knives. And the reason being is as you're trying to cut an object, if your knife is dull, a lot of times it's going to slip off and then right into your finger. And so we don't want that. That's a bad day. Okay? But a sharp knife, the edge is going to catch and you're going to go right through and have no problem. So what I'm going to talk about is I have a few different tools today to help us learn how to properly sharpen our knives. The first tool I have is what's referred to as a whetstone. A whetstone has a coarse side and a fine side. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set our whetstone down. I got a wet towel underneath so nothing's going to slide on us because we don't want that to happen. We're going to put our whetstone down. Now on our whetstone we can either use mineral oil or we can use water. We can't use vegetable oil or olive oil or any kind of cooking oil, as what's going to happen is once that gets into the stone, a little time after time, it's going to end up corroding and rotting and going bad, and we don't want that to happen. So you're going to use either mineral oil or water. Today we're just going to use a little bit of water. I got a little paper towel here, and we're going to dab a little bit of water right on that stone. Again, this is the coarse side first. Get that nice and wet. You're going to take your knife and you're going to try to maintain a 20-degree angle. That might sound a little bit confusing how to measure that, but really all you got to do if you want to cheat, just make sure your knife blade as you're looking at it is flush with that whetstone. We don't want it too far back and we don't want it too far forward as you're going to actually ruin the edge of your knife. So make sure you got that nice and flush against your stone. You're going to make one long stroke all the way down, maintaining a flush edge, and all the way down through the blade of your knife. We're going to flip it over and repeat the process. We're going to do this about 3 or 4 times. And what we're actually doing with this coarse side is we're creating a new edge on this knife. We're taking it from the coarse side of the stone is taking it from a little bit wider, and then as we flip it over to the smooth side, it's going to actually narrow it down, and the final process is the final outcome is going to be the sharpest edge possible on the knife. So we just flipped our stone over. We can go ahead and set our knife down, get a little bit more water, and wet the smooth side of our whetstone down. Again, we're just going to repeat the process. Make sure you maintain a flush edge, 20-degree angle from knife to stone, and we're just going to repeat the process. Nice long strokes. Okay. Once we've done that, we can just take our whetstone, we're pretty much done with that, and set it aside. These can be picked up for $5 maximum and kept for many, many years, and they're very important to keeping your knife sharp. You need this tool in your kitchen somewhere. A lot of people will have this next tool, which is commonly referred to as a steel or a honing steel. A lot of people think that this is what's used to sharpen your knife, but that's inaccurate information. This steel does not sharpen your knife, but it's used to hone your knife. So we use the whetstone. We've gotten from wider all the way down to as sharp as we can possibly get. But what has happened is as we're using that stone, we're actually grinding the edge of that knife back, and there's little barbs that are going back this way, little metal barbs. And so this steel is going to help us take those barbs away and give us the sharpest edge possible. All we're going to do is pretty much the opposite of what we did with the whetstone. Instead of running it from tip of the knife to the butt of the knife, we're going to run from the butt of the knife all the way to the tip of the knife. Again, maintain that 20-degree angle and make sure it's flush against the steel, and we're just going to run it right down. Nice and slow strokes. And you can actually hear some of those barbs coming off. Okay. Now, what you're going to see is a lot of people on Food Network that think it's cool to go super fast. Okay, but the problem with that is you're going to end up coming back, slipping, cutting your thumb. Okay, that's another bad day. Or you're not paying attention to what you're really doing, and you're actually doing damage to your knife. Don't be concerned with speed, but be concerned with maintaining that flush edge, again, and just making nice, slow, smooth strokes. Okay? Once we're done with that, we've completed the sharpening of our knife, and now one of the most important steps, obviously in the kitchen, is to sanitize. We have little metal flakes that are on this knife, so we don't want that in our food, obviously. So it's important to wash, hand sanitize, and dry, and keep in a dry place. We don't want to put our knives in the dishwasher, and that's because the soaps and the chemicals that's used in the dishwasher will actually corrode your knife blade, and you don't want that. And so make sure you hand wash your knives, sanitize them in a bleach solution, and then dry, and then keep your knife in a safe place. You don't need to sharpen your knife every week, maybe once per month with the stone, but it's important to always take the honing steel out, and maybe once a week, if you do a lot of cooking, just keep your knife honed up nice and sharp, and that's going to keep your longevity. You're going to have longevity to your knife, and that's important. So you don't have to go buy 4 or 5 knives a year. You get a good quality knife, you keep it sharp, it's going to last longer if you take care of it, just like anything else. So just to cover again the main points, this is our whetstone again. You're going to start on the core side, maintaining that 20-degree angle, okay, and make those nice smooth strokes. Work your way over to the smoother side, 20-degree angle, and you got the smooth strokes all the way down the length of your knife, both sides, rotating each time. And then once you're done with that, you're going to move on to the honing steel. And again, that 20-degree angle, nice and flush. Make sure you take those barbs off the knife 4, 5, 6 times, and then move on to washing, sanitizing, and drying and putting your knife away. Okay. I hope today I've helped you learn a little bit more about how to keep your knife sharp, a little bit about safety and sanitation, and then also a way to improve the longevity of your kitchen tools, which is important. So have a good evening, and thank you for listening.